even though we were on Zoom meetings, we were muted. And when she was having a fight with her characters, the hands were going and like
You've seen me moving like this since I'm talking to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first ever More Than Words podcast where you can get happily ever after hours. I am USA Today Bestselling Author Dakota Willink. If you are not familiar with my work, I'm best known for writing dark billionaire romance, but now I like to say it's dark-ish because dark has gotten really dark. I was like dark 5 years ago, if you know what I mean. But we could talk more about that later. But also, if you're familiar with me, you'll know that I'm known to stray into other subgenres when the mood strikes. If you are subscribed to my newsletter, you'll also know that I have 3 Cavalier King Charles Spaniels that are in the office with me. They have yet to learn workplace manners, so I'm going to apologize in advance for any disruptions that they might cause. I'm very excited for all the things I have lined up for you in the coming weeks. The author lineup is pretty amazing, and I'm very happy to kickstart this with the one and only Carrie Ann Ryan. Carrie is a New York Times bestselling author of contemporary and fated mate romance. She loves writing big families, all the drama, and if the mug on her desk is any indication, her goal is to collect the tears of her readers. And yes, I have seen that mug. After releasing over 150 books so far, Carrie, I would say, is well on her way to filling up that mug. I'm going to bring Carrie in just a minute, but before I do, I just want you to hit that like button. It's very important that you do this because it feeds the algorithm and it allows people like you to find us easier. So let's do this. Hey, hello, beautiful. How are
Hey,
you?
stranger.
I know it's been a while, right?
Just a little bit.
I know. I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever.
I
I was
know.
doing the before I pulled you in, I just did the introduction, like and who you were, and I'm like, man, like I haven't talked to Carrie in forever. Carrie and I used to do morning Zooms all the time and bounce ideas off each other and I don't know, keep each other company. It was like being in a virtual office. It's kind of nice. Yeah. Now it's
Yeah.
just quiet in my house. I just have the dogs.
Yeah, I have the cats and construction going on right now.
Oh no. Actually, I don't have
Uh,
any construction this year.
it's my dad.
Oh, it's your dad.
He's putting in new floors in my house. So.
Oh, nice, nice. No, actually, Thursday we're going to have construction again because we had our new driveway put in a couple of years ago, and the whole thing's like all like crumbling apart. So there's a concrete issue. So they're going to be doing construction on Thursday. So I had to like reschedule a bunch of meetings and stuff that I had on Thursday because it's going to be very loud here. So, but anyways, so is what I was saying before. Carrie and I we used to do the morning Zooms. And then since then, even though we haven't done the morning Zooms, we eventually transitioned to texting about football. And now, here we are 2 years later. We can get super chatty. So it'll be a
Just a little.
miracle if we can stick to the plan, the planned 45 minutes, of like how long we're supposed to be doing this. But before we get into all the bookish things, tell me something that you're loving and something that you're hating right now.
So I had totally thought about all of this beforehand, and now it's all gone. All gone.
That's okay. That's okay. Spontaneous is better.
Something I'm loving right now is figuring out my fall garden
Oh,
because I live in zone 9, and so therefore it's still 90 degrees here.
oh wow. Fun. That is fun.
Yes,
I'm
and so
zone seven-ish, I think. Six maybe.
yes, so zone 9 down here means like I can do like broccoli and cauliflower and everything soon to like plant in ground over winter. It's so weird.
Oh, that's fun though. See, that's
Yeah.
funny you're saying that because one of the things I'm loving right now is the insanely warm weather I'm having for Western New York. It's like I was in the pool working yesterday and it's October and like it's I'm going to get lake effect snow in about a month for anybody who is not familiar with
Yeah,
Western New
I
York.
mean, when we were younger, doing trick or treating and stuff, we're bundled up underneath our costumes and everything. So yes, we are in the middle of climate change, and this
Yes.
is not great. But it is. Yeah, I'm ready for fall, but I don't get fall here. I have so many knee-high boots from when I used to live in Philly, and I can't wear them here.
Speaking of climate change, we're actually in drought conditions. So normally, even though it hasn't really gotten cold yet, the leaves would have started to change. My street is normally just all the trees that line it would normally be bright red and gorgeous right now. Nope, everything is still green and they're just kind of getting brown and falling off like
Which
slowly.
is
It's
what we get here if we lose any
yeah, see,
leaves. Yeah, we
I'm
haven't
not
had
used
rain
to
in
it.
a while.
We have gorgeous fall weather. If anybody ever has an opportunity to drive through New York in the fall, just especially like through like the mountains, not New York City, like the state, it's gorgeous, gorgeous fall days we get. But
Theoretically.
something I'm hating is the sound of the geese because the geese means that they're all going south, and that means, like I said, those lake effects, they're on their way.
I remember the geese. Yeah, we don't get those here. We have hawks right now. But no, something I'm hating, honestly, it's still the weather. It's too hot. But
It's
no,
too
but
hot.
honestly, what I'm hating right now is the scorpions because the scorpions are coming out here.
Oh God. No, I don't have those here. We don't have those at
Yeah,
all.
so I cannot walk barefoot
No, we
outside
don't
right
have
now.
weird bugs. This is why I could never live in the South. I just could never live any place like basically like south of, I can't even say Virginia because Virginia gets some weird stuff too.
I mean, I had bug issues in Pennsylvania, so like
Yeah, I don't get bug issues
I
here.
know when I went to visit Australia, everyone's like, "Oh, just beware of." I'm like, you know where I live, right? Like,
I forgot you did Australia's. Oh, we're gonna get way off
yes.
topic. So, did you have like the crazy scary kangaroos? Did you see any of them?
So we weren't in West Australia. That's where the big red ones are, apparently.
I've seen
Like the
videos. I'm like,
huge
I'm
ones,
never
like the
going there.
ones with like the 8 pack of. Yeah, no, those aren't those. What we did do, I was there for 2 weeks, and we went to like the Sydney Zoo, so not the really big zoo, but like the smaller zoo, the one where Taylor Swift went the first day. I'm kidding, but
I
yes,
knew
but
she
that's
was
not
coming
why
up.
we
All right,
went.
we'll get there. We'll get there. I'll let you have your.
Honestly, I'm not a huge Swiftie, so it's not a big
Oh,
deal.
you're not. Oh, I thought you. Why did I think you were?
Because I like lyrics, but I'm not.
Oh,
I
see,
didn't
I'm
go to the
I'm like not a
concert.
Swiftie, not because I have anything against her at all. I'm like a punk girl. Like, send me to a Green
No,
Day
I
concert.
have all the music. I love the music. I
Yeah.
just it's not everyday vernacular. But no, so we went to the zoo and we got and the baby kangaroos are with us and they're just following us along like they're like deer. And then we went to a winery and through the mountains and even to like Bondi Beach and stuff and like you could see them wild. But like those are the ones you don't go near because like there's the one dude with all his women,
Oh,
but they're still not as big as the ones out west.
I don't. I've seen some
Sydney is
TikToks and
southeast.
they look like they could beat you up. They look like
Yes,
boxers.
they can.
They're
Yeah.
scary. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Try to get back on track here. So in your bio, you said you have 150 books. While we can't talk about all of them, we will get to one of your your recent one in a minute. But a reader did ask, how do you keep track of so many titles when you have 150 of them?
So, when I first started this whole career of mine over 15 years ago, I had already been making spreadsheets of series that I loved reading.
Okay.
So, Nalini Singh has all of these Easter eggs that she would put in book one. See Taylor Swift and Easter eggs. I knew it would come back. Okay. No, so she would put an Easter egg in book one, and like suddenly it would come in book 15, and she would have all these characters all in her mind and in her spreadsheet. So as a reader, I started making a spreadsheet with a friend, and I moved that over to my own writing. So I have spreadsheets upon spreadsheets about each character that I've ever written and who I'm going to write. And if they don't make it on the spreadsheet, 5 books later, I will rename that child by accident. So,
Oh, yeah, I can see
which
how
I have
that.
done.
It's funny you say that because I only have 11 books, although it feels like I have 1,000 of them because they're all translated. So it says
Yeah,
you say you have
we won't even
150
add the.
books.
Yeah.
When you add in all Carrie's translations, she probably has like 1,000. So like I have 11 books that actually translated. I think I'm at like 120 formats for like my books now. It's a lot to manage, but just keeping track of the characters in the 11. Um, I actually had to start doing a spreadsheet because I'm like, I'll never forget my characters. That's what I was that arrogant and thought that until I went back and added two more books to the Stone Saga. And I was like, wait a minute, because that was originally supposed to be a trilogy and then people wanted more. So I added to it. And I had to go back and try to like pluck out different details, things I forgot. And then it got even more complicated when I was writing Take Me Under because I decided, oh, thank you, Sky Warren, for taking literally revamping my entire catalog with just like in an like one quick like video call. She gave me this idea to create a whole universe. So now I'm like, oh, now I got to go find the details for that. So the spreadsheets are probably that like the so I just never I thought I would remember them. Yeah.
No, because I mean, there's also like what tattoos they have, what piercings they have, what's their hobby. Do they have a scar on their face? Do they tend to lean against the door on the right side versus the
Mhm.
left side? Like little things that make the character who they are. Like what's their sign? What's their are they like, are different, what, like strategic versus analytic, like those type of
Yes.
things. Like I
Yeah.
have some of that for some of my characters,
Yeah.
and I won't remember that 5 books in, and so I write 3 books at the same time. Sorry, three
Which I
series at the same
which I
time.
think is nuts.
So I alternate them. So I'm only working on one book at a time. But like,
You
so
but
I'm
you
writing.
write very fast. Like you can spit out a book
Yes,
in 5 weeks. I can barely
yes,
even figure out the idea for my next book in 5 weeks. Like
yeah.
I'm not a plotter though. I'm a pantser. That's the
Yeah, I'm
difference.
a plotter, but like, so like I'm only writing one book at a time, and I'm in the Montgomerys now. But then next I think I'll be in the Ashford Creek series, and then after that I'll be in Cage Family. So right now I'm in the Montgomerys, and I know my Montgomerys, and I have the Cages back here, but I can't focus on, even though Cage book 3 comes out the end of the month, I don't have them in the front of my mind. So if someone asks about, hey, what happened in this book, it takes me a minute to like file through, and then it's in the front of my mind and I can answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. Well, you know what I find I forget more often are the tiny side characters, like the name of like the doorman or the the name of the waitress at a restaurant or something like that. And I've found accidentally, I'm very drawn to names that begin with A for whatever reason. I don't know why. I'm like, no, I can't have another A name. Like, and
Mine
I'm
are all
having to like,
L's.
what's that?
Yeah. Mine are all L's, all of my side characters.
They're all
And
L's.
and so I've had to start writing that. And since all of my contemporary books are in the same world, so like if they need to go to a coffee shop, they go to one of my Montgomery coffee
Mhm.
shops. If they need, so that way you get like little Easter eggs and glimpses. But I ha- I wrote a series with Alexandra Ivy in paranormal, and she used to write a historical, and she realized that if she didn't write down the side characters, every single one of her maids would be named Molly,
Oh my
like
gosh, that's so funny.
all series.
Molly the
So that's
maid.
how I start. Yeah, every single one. And so when she told me that, like a decade ago, I started to write each side character. But usually the side characters that I know I'm not going to write, I try to write like family names, because I know I never write, like I'll never use those names as heroes or heroines.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Actually, because it's so funny you say that when about like family names, because I had it was a side character that I was going to do and I was going to plot it or as much as I plot, I usually will write down ideas and then I get to like chapter 4 and then the whole plot that I decided it just goes right out the window. But I remember I had this character Sophie I wanted to do. Well, then my sister had a baby and she named her Sophie. And I'm like, I guess I can't have a Sophie as a character now. So I had to like change it. But there are some that like I already had the character and then somebody named their baby that. I'm like, well, too bad. I wasn't thinking of your kid. It's just like I wrote the
The
book first.
first book that my assistant and I worked on together, like I hired Brandy, and the first book I gave her, so we can start with, was My Bad Decisions, and the hero's name is her kid's name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's like trial by fire. And then like on this board behind me, I have like the character names that I'm working on. Like that's, I always have like my brain map out of the
Mhm.
Montgomerys. And my mom yesterday looked at that and she's like, why do you have my dog's name on there? And I was like, first off, I named her before we got Riley. You stole my name.
So who is in Legacy? How is that connected to the rest of your books? Because that's your newest release coming out is
That'll
like
be, yeah,
what
in
world is that in?
January. So
What's that?
that is the Ashford. So that's my Ashford Creek book one,
Okay.
and it is a spinoff of the Wilder Brothers.
Okay.
And the Wilder Brothers are my near and dear series because they're set where I'm at now. And it's the series that I sat down with my dad and was like, hey, I haven't written military before because you're military, and that's just weird to me. So I want to write retired military. Get like, let me ask you a bunch of questions. And so now every time that like they follow the newsletter, they're like, hey, dad's series is coming out next. And so they're excited that the spinoff of my dad's series is coming out this next year.
Oh, well, that's fun. So that's what inspired you to write it? It's just your military experience, like growing up.
As a military kid, so not in the military. So what happens when you're forced to move constantly and not put down roots? And when someone else tells you what to do forever and suddenly you're allowed to have choices, and you are 33 years old and you have a full career behind you, and that does not matter in the civilian world.
Yeah.
So it's what are you supposed to do now? And so that was with the Wilder brothers. And the Ashford Creek series is, one of the women that married into the Wilders happens to have five single brothers, and they need to
Wow.
have a series of their own. So this is a small town contemporary suspense series that's set in the same world.
I'm always impressed, like when you talk about like your writing and the worlds that you've built, and because as much as I'm so happy I created like this whole universe to write under the Shameless Billionaire Club universe. It does make it easier when I'm just going along. I don't have to. I find I don't have to come up with new things because I can use the same coffee shop, like you said, or I can
Mm-hmm.
use, and it's kind of nice in that sense. But just the individual stories, like crafting like each one, making everyone like unique and not the same regurgitated, thing over and over again. Yeah, it's impressive, like that you can.
With this series, you can see it's I'm blurred behind me, but legacy behind a lot of the tropes and a lot of the subjects that I touch on are ones that I haven't wanted to do for 150 books,
Mhm.
or I didn't think I was strong enough or a good enough writer. So a lot of them are things that I haven't been able to write before, which has been interesting.
We really
So
are our own worst like critics.
yeah, like there's my first
Yeah,
hockey hero,
yeah.
there's my first rock star heroine, and then there's a bunch of my first fireman, like little things like that. But
Mm.
like those I haven't wanted to write because they didn't fit the blue collar motif that I usually fit in.
Yeah.
So
It is hard, like getting out of your comfort bubble. I remember when I was writing Endurance, it was originally written in Christy Bromberg's Driven World. For any of you who are familiar with Christy Bromberg, she's actually the guest next week. But when I wrote that, I had to tie it in with her Driven books, and it was F1 racing. And I had never even watched a race before. I had no idea what I was doing. And I tend to get really lost in the weeds with research when I say I was like researching like names of like what things that are said, what's going on in the pits. I'm like, what is the pits? I'm like, okay, so I got it. What's the pit crew? And I had to like it was so many things that I had to find. So I that's another thing. People I have another author from Melissa. She said that she was writing a football romance but she never watched a football game. And I was like, what? And then I'm like, actually, I did that. I had to write F1. And it is hard. It really is hard to get out of your comfort zone and write something you're not familiar with. Like you said, things you didn't want to do before. Like you said, firemen. Like, what is your experience with firemen? Probably
I
minimal, you know?
dating someone who was one.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but I mean, it wasn't like a really firsthand,
Yeah,
like
it
you
wasn't
lived
that. And
it
like with
or, yeah.
well, even with sports, like I didn't watch football, American football for 12 years.
Hmm.
We watched, my husband was a huge hockey fan, so we watched that.
Hmm.
And then I lived in Europe for a bit, so I watched soccer and a little bit of F1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like my
F1's
friend is like
popular
in
over
love
there,
with
isn't it?
Lewis Hamilton, so of course I knew F1. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where most of the circuits are, versus here, there's only really the one big one. They tried in Vegas and it's not going to work out.
I
So,
I don't know. I don't even know that much. I don't even
you're
remember what
like,
I
you're
researched.
still,
I did what I had to do to write that book. And because I also ended up having to say, oh, he's injured and he's out of the game. So, and I brought like a whole like addiction, like, painkiller addiction thing into the story. Cause I'm like, I can't actually have him racing because I don't know, like, I don't know how to write this.
because
So
that's not the story you want to tell. And somebody who really wants to have the adrenaline rush, they're the one that's going to write that story.
yeah. And that's another thing too, like the addiction and like that, like, grabbing you emotionally. That's my sort of writing anyway. So it worked for me to do that. It was more once I got out of the whole, oh, I have to write him as a race car driver in this moment. Once I got away from that and I'm like, oh, wait, we could just have him like this was his life before, and now this is his life now. Then I was able to write the book. But man, that was a struggle. And that was during COVID when I had to write that. So like and all the words were a struggle during COVID. I remember that too. I was late with the manuscript. That was, yeah. But anyway,
I wrote like I was running out of time during the initial
yeah,
phase. I wrote, I think, 12 books in 1 year.
yeah. Mortality became real, like very, very
I
real,
mean,
very
I
fast.
all of my books deal with mortality because that's like my id. So that's what I focus on.
Mhm.
And my big thing is um, you think you know your life and then it completely changes in one instant. Is it getting sick? Is it losing your husband? Is it changing your career? Is it getting hurt in a sport? And so that I like to write that moment onward because you totally think that you're a sane person and totally have it down. And, like I'm not a teenager, not my 20s, I've got it. And then, oh, no, don't, everything's different.
Yep. Yeah. Um, so that all said, with everything we're talking about, your writing process, all these books. So we talked about how you keep track of your characters. When you're sitting down to actually write, I know what your writing process is, but the readers don't. And I'm gonna tell you why I know her writing process is because even though we were on Zoom meetings, we were muted. And when she was having a fight with her characters, the hands were going and like I
You've
could,
seen me moving like this since I'm talking to you.
yeah.
So, I have three autoimmune disorders and diseases where I sometimes can't feel my hands and I can't type. And I hand typed the first, I think, 90 books. And finally, I was like, you're going to be hospitalized. You're going to need to learn how to dictate. So I dictate my books now. But I also talk with my hands, as you can see. And so while muted on Zoom, you can see me dictating and trying to think of words. And especially if I'm writing like fantasy or paranormal and they have magic in them, I'm doing the hand movement so I can describe it. And it's like you can tell, like, because like you'll sit there and you sit like straight and you're thinking. Another one of our friends like starts to tilt as she's
Yeah.
writing, and
Yeah.
suddenly she's out. And another person, like, you can tell they're like on their phone
Yeah.
not writing. And then there's me just making noises in the corner, like.
Seriously, if it's just imagine a silent Zoom and Carrie like literally doing magic tricks and spells
Yes,
and
hands in the air, shaking, and suddenly you can see me. I'm just pacing, so you can't see my head. You just see my body pacing across the screen because I'm trying to like figure it out and I'm trying to get my
yeah.
steps in.
Yeah. Yeah, steps too. Those are important. I have to have like my watch goes off. Time to stand up. I'm like, all right, gotta get up and move. So what's your favorite part of all of that? So if you're dictating and what is your favorite? So you're telling the story to your dictation software, and then what? Then what do you do?
And what happened? Okay, so I
Because
my
people
favorite
who
part
aren't
is actually
familiar with
plotting.
it, they're like, okay, so you dictated. How does it become on? How does it go on paper?
So if there's multiple ways that I actually get it done. So I love plotting. That's my favorite part, is figuring out what's going to happen. And
Mhm.
so I outline like I'm in a history class taught by your high school football coach, where it's like one da 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 A B C D. Like that's how I outline, and it works for me. So I have 21, let's say 21 chapters, and I know it's the bit points for each part. And you can literally, if you can't see me right now, I'm using my hands to talk as I'm doing it. So I outline and I know what I'm going to do. So while I'm there is I dictate and I talk into my phone is how I do it. And there's multiple ways that I have done it, but this is my best way. And either I will use a software where I send it to a company and they type it for me,
Mhm.
or it's automatically done on like Dragon Anywhere. Or right now, I do have two typists
Mhm.
that are out of work because due to government things, and so I use them and I send them the files and they hand type it for me, and I pay by the word,
By the
and then
word,
they
yeah.
send it back.
So it's like just a lot of extra steps. So in all of that, when you're telling your story, you're dictating everything. What is your favorite part in your whole process from the minute you come up with your idea to the day you hit publish? What's your favorite moment?
My favorite process is taking out a notebook and figuring out exactly what I'm going to do with the world
Mhm.
and the characters. I'm coming up with another series right now that has nothing to do with everything I've ever written. And I literally have a notebook by me right now that I'm just putting down ideas for. So
Mhm.
I love plotting and outlining. And then after I do that, I dictate the book and using punctuation. So a lot of people right now, because dictation software has changed so much that you can use pauses and things,
Mhm.
and it sort of makes the punctuation for you. But like Apple's newest software is terrible,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm yelling at Siri
terrible.
constantly, getting it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're, yeah, even I tried to say like I tried to use a word that was like about not even about drama, but about like angst and stuff, and it wrote K drama.
Oh,
Like that's what it thought I
yeah.
said. I'm like, that,
Yeah.
stop trying to think about the words I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but there's other softwares that do that for you. But I use punctuation, so it's like begin quote, da 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 da, comma, end quote. He said, period, new line.
So you have to say the punctuation. It's so funny you say that. I know we've talked about this before because I have like another author friend of mine, Gina Azzi. She loves to send voice notes to me. So I get
Yes.
to hear, her lovely voice and I try to reply back thinking it's like more personal. But because I dictate to Siri, I'll be like, "Hi Gina!" exclamation point. And I'm like, "God damn it, this is a voice note. I don't
Yeah,
need to
all the
say that. I'm
time,
just
all
actually
the time. I
I
think
can't
we've done
talk
it to each other.
naturally."
And when we're pausing to think during a voice note, we both say comma.
Yeah. Yeah. Comma. I'm like, come on. I'm like, oh no, no.
It's just thinking. Yeah. And then,
Like,
so because I dictate, it takes me about I add about two extra sessions of editing.
Hmm.
Like one is to clean up all of the like whatever they thought they heard
Yeah.
typing, or if I have a program do it, I have to really clean it up. And then it's another one of figuring out the way that I speak is different the way that I write.
Yeah.
So altering that, and then it goes into content edits, copy edits, proofs.
Yeah. All the things. But I
Mhm.
mean, to me, it's like every layer you can, every extra pass through you can have is like the cleaner the manuscript is, like once it's finally like published. Because like I get like crazy when I use the same word in the same paragraph, or like, or something like that. And I do it. And you want to know when I catch it is when I'm proofing my audiobook. Like it's like, oh, I said that word too many times, or something like that. And I would imagine you probably catch that stuff easier, like in the
Yeah, and
process because
especially
there's so many pass
because
throughs.
I'll have like two words in a manuscript that are like really in my head for speaking. I would never have typed it ever, but it's just what I say all the time. And like Brandy, whenever she does my copy edit, she's like, I'm gonna highlight this word in this book for you. Just I
Yeah.
want you to look how bright yellow it is.
I did that with my last editor. She's like, so much walking. Can you use another word? They're walking way too much. How about you say, he moved over here or he headed in that direction? Stop walking. She said, like, it was
No, I
just
said
so much walking.
effervescent. Like effervescent was the word I used like 15 times.
That's an odd word to use too many times.
Like I said, it's not even the action or said or sighing. Everyone sighs and shrugs. No,
Yeah.
it's a random word that will not go away, that makes
Yeah.
no sense. And it's just that's the, like,
Yeah.
I should just title my book that word.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Right. My favorite part when in like all my, because I don't really have a process, that's the curse of being a pantser. It's so unorganized. But when I get to like the two-third mark of the book, that's when all of a sudden it's like I see everything and then I can't stop writing. And for me, like a good writing day for me is like 2,000 words. I can't write fast. But when I'm in at that point, it's not unusual for me to knock out 8,000 words in a day because I'm just like flying through the rest of the story. Because now I'm visualizing the ending. I know exactly how they get there. And it's very exciting. So I imagine if I could stick to a plot, or like a plotted outline, I probably would be able to write faster, but my brain just goes in different places. And I think they're gonna die. We should kill this person. And then I go off track. That's what happens. Usually I end up not liking somebody in the book, and then there's an enemy. And
I
then,
usually end up liking the person I promised I would kill, and then it's not great because I have already led that way and I've plotted that way. Like I stick to my outline pretty much. Like the ending though, I keep very vague of conflict happens here, big climax, because I don't know exactly how the suspense part's going to end until I'm there.
oh, really? That's interesting. So you're not actually plotting the like every single like minute of that. That actually comes as you're writing. So okay, that
Just
actually makes me
last
feel
part
more
really. Like I
comfortable.
know like it's not like he walks to the kitchen, like it's like oh, well, let's see what is let me look at what I'm writing now. If I could find my mouse, that would be great. Like this one is work time with Reese is this, and it's like 8 different points of things that I need to happen. Like we need to introduce this, there needs to be guide time, there needs to be, like things like that. And then I
Oh,
think about it.
okay. Interesting. I just need to take a class on plotting or something. Maybe that'll like make it easier.
You and your classes.
Actually, I've been really good. I've not done any classes this year. I was like, so I'm like the little thing. I'm like number one achiever, two strategic, three futuristic. And input isn't until like number seven. It should be like number one. I'm like, give me all the information. Like I am forever taking classes. And I've actually did better with that this year. I did not sign up for anything, I don't think. Not a single class. The only thing I did was I just did Zio Axelrod's retreat this past weekend, but that was more of a networking. I wouldn't, I mean, I learned, but it wasn't a,
There wasn't a class, especially held by some person who just takes what we do and just calls it their own.
yeah, it's like, yeah. It's just a different type thing. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we have another reader question. But before I get to that, I'm just going to remind everybody as you're watching to hit the like button if you haven't already, because it does help the algorithm and our visibility so more people can find this. So I have a question from Catherine in Rhinelander. I think that's how you say that. She wants to know, who is your favorite literary idol and why?
Well, so I love reading romance. That's the thing. That's what I like to read. And so honestly, it could be three people.
Mhm.
I mean, the big idol for me is going to always be Nora Roberts, just because of what she is. She's my comfort listen.
She's the goat. Like,
Yeah. And so some books are amazing, some books are, not your favorite.
Mhm.
But I love feeling that I know that the characters are going to be fleshed out. I know that I'm going to hit the beats, and I'm going to be comforted even if I'm frustrated.
Mhm.
And I love how it's button seat, and she's in her 70s now, I think, maybe.
Is she really?
I think so. I think she's in and she's still writing 2 to 3 books a year because she has 2 pen names. Like, she's still working. So every
Yeah.
time I get tired and I don't want to write, I remember that yes, she had her garden done, but she also wrote her words today.
Yeah. True. True.
Yeah.
Honestly, but if
Hence
I
why
was
I
Laura
still publish
Roberts, I
8 books a
probably
year.
would pay somebody to do my garden, not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, if you read her book, she loves gardening. Like, that's her thing.
Oh, okay, that's her jam. Yeah.
Yeah. So someone
I do
cleans her
like
house
going out.
probably, but she
I
loves
do plant
gardening.
all my flowers and stuff. I do like to water them on my own. I can't imagine I would ever farm that out. Maybe if I couldn't do it myself anymore, but it's good exercise
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah. And
no,
then
I can't say I can't say I have a literary idol because I read so many different genres. And if I'm writing, I'm not even reading romance because like other authors' characters get in my head. So I mean, I have some favorites, but when I think about, actually, I have a story, and I can't say she's like an idol, but man, it was a moment. I was at, I had just started. I was an author for like, I don't know, what year was the last RT? Was that like Romantic Times? That was in Reno. It was like 2018, maybe 17,
yeah.
2017.
No, 17 was Denver. No, 18 was Denver, so it was 19.
It couldn't have been 19. Had to have been before that. I think it was 18.
Well, I just know the reason that I know it was because the 1 year anniversary of losing my husband was 18, and that we were in Denver for that. So
I don't remember. I don't remember. It
it was
was like
one year
well,
around there.
it's not like what year it was, but I just remember it was the last one. And it
Mhm.
was quiet. Like the signing wasn't very busy. I don't know why. Like, it was the first one I ever did. So I had nothing really to compare it to. I just remember it not being busy. And before I had published, Shayla Black was just somebody that like I read, and
Oh,
I
I
used to
love
say
her.
like her and like Sylvia Day, like all of them, like I basically cut my romance teeth on them, and that's how I ended up going into like the dark billionaire-ish um genre. And she was there, and someone's like, "Oh, do you want to go say hello to Shayla Black? She's over there." I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." Didn't think anything. I was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go say hello." I walked up to her. I couldn't even breathe. My heart started to race. It was ridiculous. Like, I fangirled like nobody's business, and I didn't even expect it to happen. So she must be an idol of mine of some sort, which ironically, she's also going to be on the podcast in February because that's when her birthday
Okay,
is.
so do
But
some yoga
I know, but
beforehand.
now we're like friends. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I first met her, I literally couldn't breathe. And yeah, but now she's like my friend.
So
So,
I have a funny story about that. So my first signing ever was in 2012. And this is, oh my gosh, 2012. Oh, I don't even know how we say it anymore. But I was a baby author. I had 5 books out.
mhm.
And this was when we had Create Space, and Create Space was just learning what print was. And so
Oh,
I had to beta them to get print books out. Like, this is how ancient times it is in being an indie author. And so I went to a book signing, and there was only like 15 authors.
okay.
And Shayla was one, and Sylvia Day was one, and it was all of my authors that I love to read. And I was this newbie indie author, and everyone else was trad, and it was so welcoming. And like, we all sat down and we talked, and Shayla's like, "Hey, I hear you're indie. Let's talk indie." And I was like, "I would love to talk plotting with you." And that is how we became friends. And so
Oh,
like,
wow.
literally, we like shared ideas, and it's like it's been since then. And like, that's how I love going to book signings and being like, "Hey, I will always like help you with anything you want, and I would love to pick your brain and let's just talk."
Wow, that's actually
Yeah.
cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. So, all right. So we're gonna do final thoughts because we're about 40 minutes-ish in, I think. I wasn't really, I think we got on a little bit early. Tell me, what's your unpopular opinion?
I don't have one. I'm perfect in every way.
No, unpopular opinion. What is something that
No.
like you think is like everybody likes this, but you don't? Like, what's your unpopular opinion?
I don't like chocolate.
You don't like chocolate. Why?
I have to have chocolate like with things, I don't like just normal chocolate. Like when we were in Australia and everybody was like, "Oh, you have to try this thing." Like all the Cadbury chocolates and things. It was
Right.
huge. It
Yeah.
had to be like the caramel, or it had to be something that with Pop Rocks or something. Can't I just don't like I don't like chocolate cake. I don't like chocolate chips and cookies. I and
Cadbury
my
chocolate's not good though.
no
Like
no
there's
no
good
no
Swiss
no not the
chocolate.
U.S. Don't
Oh,
do the U.S.
oh.
No,
Is it better
Australia
there?
is different. Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's just
okay.
it tastes just like the European ones, but yeah, I don't like, and even like the fancy American chocolates, or even when I was in Switzerland, not really my
I,
thing. It
I
has to
don't
be
like
with things.
I don't like love chocolate, but if it's like a good smooth dark chocolate, I really like it. My husband's a sweet tooth though. Like, give me a bag of Doritos. I am a Dorito girl. Actually, I was just reading Kamala Harris's book and I found out she's a Dorito girl. I was like, oh, that's why I've
I
always
knew that because she
I
kept every time that we saw TikToks of her going into convenience stores, she kept getting uh, Doritos for her, and her husband would kept getting Doritos for her every time. It was so
I
cute.
did not. I see. I never caught that. I had no idea when I was reading her books, and she just kept talking about Doritos. I was like, ah, I'm like, this is fantastic, and it's the original nacho cheese. Yep, don't mess with them.
Uh,
Cool Ranch. Bleh. Why are you
oh,
messing with?
I'm a Cooler Ranch Dorito
Oh
girl.
no
That's
no
what they're
no.
not allowed in this house.
Oh,
Like,
my husband, he likes the taco ones. I like just the regular old nacho cheese.
because I love, if you read my Montgomery Inc. series, you know that I love cheese. Like it's a huge, like people have, like there's a woman that has like the cheese saying
Mhm.
tattooed on her body. Like that's
Oh my
from
God.
my books. Because it's such a big thing in my books, but like, and I don't like cheese flavoring.
Well, cheese flavoring is not really
Cheese,
cheese.
right?
I don't
I
think. No,
love
it's a
cheese. I
different.
have at
It's
least
a,
7 types of cheeses in my house right
I can
now.
make a meal out of cheese. It's so good.
Yes,
Yes.
but I don't like Doritos with that. Like I like the Cooler Ranch, but I don't like cheese flavoring. And the only Cheetos I like are like the air popped ones.
Yeah, there's different Cheetos too. I like them when they're not like when they're more like
Now I
melty in
really
your
want
mouth.
junk food.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm gonna be like, no, what are we snacking on, right? Next time we do this, we'll have snacks, all right?
I know. So wait, do you eat while you're writing? Like what is your snack?
I don't really, but I'm not like I'm not even like a breakfast person. Like I have like a yogurt maybe in the morning or a granola bar.
Well, I don't eat breakfast either because we would work at like 6 a.m. and there would be no food.
Yeah, yeah, right. And then it was no, and then I have like a protein drink usually for dinner because the over 40s we have to have like lots of protein apparently, like way more than I can possibly ever consume. So that has become kind of like my lunch because they're filling, like they're
I'll give
that's
you the link to my favorite protein powder that I add to a protein drink so you can get like
oh,
50 grams
interesting.
in one meal
Yeah,
that actually tastes
yeah,
good.
and then dinner. Yeah, so and then I'll usually have a snack when like we're watching TV or something at night, which is yeah. But I'm not like as far as snacking during the day, I'm not like a big snacker. But when I
I
do have a snack,
can't.
it needs to be something nice and salty, no
I
sweet.
can't because I dictate, so I can't chew while I'm writing.
Well, I can't type and like
Yeah. Well,
I
some
don't know.
people can. Like they
Make it
need
too
their
much.
like I used to edit with Sour Patch Kids and grapes. Like those are my two things, and then therefore I can only have grapes. I can't have Sour Patch Kids in the house. Like I used to be able to like because I'm 5 foot, so I used to be able to like get a stool and put them up really high. But now I'm like, I'll just get the stool. I don't care. Like, so I'll
I remember when
climb
I
the
first
shelves
met
to
you,
go
I
get
did
the
not
candy.
know you were that. I did not know you were only 5 foot tall. I had no idea. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you're really small, but I'm very tall. So like, so everybody is like short to me. So like, don't take that personally at all. Well, actually, I'm 5'7". I'm not, I'm just tall for like a girl. I feel like most women are like,
I thought you were
I'm
average
like
height.
average. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm average, but everybody says I'm so tall, and I think it's because I come from a family of very short Italians. My mother lies and says she's 5 foot, but she's probably maybe 4'11" on like with shoes. She's so tiny, and my grandma's even smaller. And my
Plus, most of
sisters
our
are very
friends,
short.
yeah, most of our friends are around my height. Like
Yeah,
our connected friends. Like
yeah,
there's not many people who are
yeah,
like Kat's tall.
yeah. Cat's tall. Yeah, she's
Yeah, but the
taller. I think
rest are
she's
all
taller than me,
like
actually.
below 5'4".
Yeah,
Like they're all a little bit taller than me to the point that I can ask them to reach for things for me,
yeah.
but still not tall.
All right, so my unpopular opinion, I'm going to say because it just happened yesterday and I was like thoroughly annoyed about it. I mean, not like so annoyed, but tipping. So first of all, I'm an over tipper. So if I go into a restaurant, I will tip 25%. That's who I am. But yesterday, I have Bills season tickets, which you will hear me talk about the Bills probably a lot
I'm
during
shocked.
these
Wait, you like the
podcasts.
Buffalo Bills? I've never heard this once
I
in our
know
conversation.
I know, right? Carrie's never heard about my boy
He was
Josh
my
Allen.
quarterback last year for fantasy football, so.
That's why we were texting all the time about football last year because yeah, Josh Allen was Carrie's quarterback in fantasy. Um, but yeah, so anyways, so no, so I go there and we're at the game yesterday, and it's like these self-serve coolers, and you go, you grab your drink that you want and get your pretzel off the thing, and then you go to the self-serve checkout. And then so I served myself. I'm even cashing myself out. And there's one person standing behind like five things, just making sure we're cashing ourselves out. And there's an option for a 15% tip. I'm like, who am I tipping? Yeah, I feel like the over tipping is becoming like an issue everywhere.
So I do believe that yes, but also the Square readers
Yeah.
and the Shopify readers have it automatically added.
Yeah, but you can
So
turn that
it,
off.
but
For
like
me, I can add it to my website, but I just don't have it on.
totally, but like the readers itself,
Yeah,
sometimes you can't depending on the software, and so
maybe.
and then especially when they first started to come out, and
Maybe.
so like now when everybody like little mom and pop shops, you turn the little Square reader around and you can type it in,
Mhm.
like even little restaurants where like you're tipping for takeout where the hostess didn't actually do anything,
Yeah.
but like because like when I was a hostess and we did take out, I had to put everything in bags and everything, like that was one thing.
Mhm.
So like it's I don't want to, I'm with you on tipping, but like
Yeah.
I do believe that it got worse with the Square reader.
Maybe that's why it's gotten. I'm just like, it's everything I do. I'm like, nobody did anything for me to tip. Like I did everything myself. It was literally self-service and self-checkout. So
Like
anyway,
when I pay in cash,
that's
and
my
when I
like
pay
pet
in
peeve.
cash, I'll always put change at a coffee shop. Like I'll tip with that.
Oh yeah, I have no problem
Or
with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, I'm not talking about
but
that. Like, because somebody's making your drink and it's, I
it's
don't
one
really
thing.
care
But
about that. But like,
or it's
it's
tipping
just
like when
everywhere.
they own the business, when they're the owner, they own the home, they own all this, and then you add tip on top of it. Like I totally with you, but I do believe it has exploded because of Square readers and other platforms like that because they automatically add it. So before, when it was just a cash register,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, here you go, here's your change. Now they flip it around where they're trying not to give you eye contact, but you have to go through and hit no tip while giving them eye contact.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It is. It's very like I just don't like
Mm-hmm.
it. Anyways. So, all right. Okay. So that's it. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for being my very first guinea pig, for this podcast. This was fun. It was great catching up. We'll have to do it, definitely do it again.
Yeah.
So for everybody watching, if you can go ahead and follow me and Carrie, all of our links are going to be in the description underneath this episode. Next week is going to be Christy Bromberg, the author of the popular Driven series. So make sure you submit your questions, which is also going to be linked below. And then as well as subscribe to the More Than Words newsletter so you can be the first to know about upcoming episodes and all the fun stuff we have going on. So thank you all for tuning in. And Carrie, thank
Thanks for
you
having me.
again so much for everything. And we'll chat soon.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into the More Than Words podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and consider sharing it with your friends so more people can find us. The more people we have listening, the more fun we can have on our shows. And most of all, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting authors everywhere. Thanks and happy reading.